Good morning. I'm working on a sort of request today. I did a smart doll beanie a while ago, and these sort of slouchy beanies, and somebody placed a comment on it saying that, they'd be interested in seeing what it would be like for a Barbie. So I thought, well, let's go for it. So we're going to be making a slouch beanie for Barbie. So my Barbie here is modelling the hat. The great thing with these, they can be repositioned in different ways, so you can wear them differently. So you can just sort of pop it to the back, or she could just sort of have a full almost bucket type hat there. I like to sort of angle mine, so what I do is I just sort of pinch it there and take it over to one side, and that is how I did the smart doll one. So this is the size we're going to be working on. I'm going to be using a 4-ply yarn, which obviously, because Barbie's smaller, she needs a finer yarn, but I am only going to be using a 3.5mm crochet hook, which is a little large for what I would normally use 4-ply, but I think because of the style of the hat, it's allowed to be a little bit chunkier on her. I have my scissors, my stitch marker and a needle there, obviously for sewing up, so we don't need some of that now. So we'll just move it over to one side, and we'll move Barbie to one side as well. I do think that as long as you know what a half treble is, and if you don't, just have a little practice. There's people out there with videos, myself included, or if you've got a book or something like that, have a little practice at half trebles. They're a great stitch. So a little bit shorter than a treble, but a little bit longer than a double crochet. Remember that we are using UK terms here as well. So you may need to see a conversion chart if this is not the terminology for your country. So we're going to get on with this, and we're going to start like I start with most of my amigurumi. I'm going to start with my slip knot. Make sure it does slip, it makes a difference. And I'm going to pop it onto my hook, not too tight, and we're going to do 2 chain. So just 1 and 2. Now into this first chain here, we're going to do 6 double crochets, DCs. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now that is the only double crochet at this start point. We do have a couple here, but on average this is all we're going to do for the main body of the hat, because we're now going to move on to half trebles. And because I'm changing stitch, I want to do a slip stitch, so I'm going to do a slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet. So just pull it through and pull it through. It just flattens it into position. I'm now going to do 2 chain. The 2 chain counts as my first half treble, and directly below, if you sort of stretch it a bit, you can see where you've just come out with your slip stitch. I'm going to do another half treble. So yarn goes round, I go into the hole, pull the yarn through. You should have 3 on the hook here. I'm going to grab the yarn, and I'm going to try and pull it through all 3. If you can't do it all at once, it doesn't matter. You could do a 2 and a 1, but basically this yarn here has to come through all 3 of those one way or another. See, I did a 2 and a 2 there. So that is my first increase. So that is the equivalent to 2 half trebles into that space. We're now going to do 2 half trebles into each of the others, so we should end up with 12 stitches. So yarn round. I'll do a few slow ones so you can get the gist of it. Pull it through. We have 3 on the hook. We're going to pull it through all 3. We're going to do another one in that same space. Remember, it's 2 in each of those 6 double crochets from the previous round. So that's our second one. Our third one. So we need 2 in this one. So all 3. So that's our third set. This is our fourth set. So yarn round into the stitch, pull it through all 3, and a second one. So that was number 4. Next one. Number 5, we need 1 more. Remember to wrap the yarn. You'll know you're on the right sort of track, so to speak, because there will be 3 there, and then you need to pull it through all 3, compared with a treble where you do it 2 by 2. So we have 12 stitches now. I'm just going to pull that tight in the middle because that was a slip knot, and because of that it means I can tighten it up there. Now I'm not going to do any more slip stitches. You can get away with working on a spiral system like with amigurumi when you're using half trebles. You can't really much above that. You would have to sort of stop and start if it was a treble, but because they're not trebles we're going to get away with it. Now remember, this first bit here was 2 chains, so we're going to go yarn round and into the top that 2 chain. Now that's not always easy to find. Here we go, there we are, and we're going to pull it through and we'll complete the half treble. But we're going to do another one also in there because we're doing 2 in each again. So that's our first 2 in each. So we're going to go all the way around back to here. Now a stitch marker might be useful now because you can't really see where you stopped and started because we didn't do the slip stitch situation, but I think we're just going to count for now. So we had 12 stitches, I've just done 1, so we've got another 11 that we're going to do 2 half trebles in each of. So this is our second one, that's 1 half treble, that's 2 half treble. Now our third one, 1 half treble, 2 half treble. So we can see, if you can count half trebles, they're quite nice for that. You can actually see where you're going. So we've got 1, 2, 3, number 4. Yep, and 5. We have a 2 and a 2, 6. And number 7, our 8th one with 2, number 9, that's for the yarn splitting, this is splitting a little bit, number 10, number 11, and number 12. So that is 2 in every single one of the previous rows 12. So we now have 24 stitches. There's going to be one more little increase. It's not a massive one, but it's a little combination, and you're going to do that combination 8 times. You're going to do 2 in the first one, so you've got an increase, and then 1 and a 1. We've done that before with our amigurumi, but we're going to be doing them with half trebles today, that's all. So we're going to do, in fact, I'm going to pop my stitch marker in because when I'm talking I do lose count. I'm going to use my little Lily stitch marker today. This is one of the stitch markers that I do have on my site, so I will pop that in, there you go. So this is our first one. We're going to do 2 half trebles in there, and we have 8 sets of these. So this is our first set, so there's 2 in the first one and then 1 in each of the next 2. So we have a 1 and a 1, and that's our first set. Second set, we have a 2 in the first one and we have 1 in each of the next 2. That's our second set. Our third set, we have a 2 and a 1 and a 1, and you see we're getting a little bit bigger now, and I've already lost count, so that is why, good job I put that stitch marker in. We have a 2, remember you have 8 sets, we have a 1, we have a 1, we have a 2, we have a 1, we have a 1, 2 in the next one, a 2 and a 1 and a 1. The half trebles will start to move faster when you are able to pull them through all 3. When you're doing it bit by bit, a 2 and a 1, things like that, which I still do sometimes myself, you will find that it takes a little bit longer, that's all. But if you just remember the combination and just pause me on there, that you're going to do 2 in 1 and 1 in the following 2, times 8. So this is a 2. We have a 1. We have a 1, and thank goodness for the stitch marker, because I know I need one more set. We have a 2. We have a 1. And we have a 1. Perfect, spot on where the stitch marker is. Now that is the max that we are going to increase. We're now just going to have half treble rounds, and we're going to have 5 of those. Well, it's 5 I did on this one. If you want it to sort of be sort of I don't know, longer, for want of a better word, beanie. In fact, let me take it off and I'll just show you. All it is, oh, there we go. That's all a basic beanie is. As in a slouch beanie, should I say. So you can sort of just pull it over. So they're always a little bit longer, a slouch beanie, than a basic beanie. I mean, you could cut it shorter and just make her a beanie as well. So off we go. Stitch marker in place. We have 5 rounds of just half trebles. So if you're going sort of a little bit quicker than me, sort of, I will see you at the other end probably, because you're probably going to fast forward. If you're staying with me, thank you for staying with me, and let's see how we go. But don't have to rush. If you want to pause me and just carry on at your own speed, please do, because you shouldn't be stressed when you're crocheting. A crochet sort of project should be a relaxing thing. I know when you're first learning that's not always the case, but it will eventually get like that. So I'm just doing 1 half treble in every stitch. And we just go straight round to our stitch marker, and we're going to do that 5 times. Poor old Barbie doesn't really get many designs. I don't really do much for her. I haven't got a lot of Barbies, to be honest. My main fashion doll is, well, this size is my Cindy's, my vintage Cindy's, and obviously the new range that came out recently as well. But I have a few Barbies. I mean, this is the one that is a Japanese import, so all on her box everything was written in Japanese. She's not actually Barbie, she's one of Barbie's friends, but I just thought she was so pretty, and I thought it was very unusual, obviously, because it wasn't one that was launched in this country. So that is why I went for it, and I'd got a really good deal on eBay. I can't even remember how much I paid, but it won't have been much, because I always put a limit on sort of the basic sort of designs like that. It's only every now and again that if it's something special I want, that I will actually pay out a little bit more. But I've got a few, but they're more like the collectible ones. You know, I've got mine Barbie Loves Elvis, I've got Barbie Star Trek, and a couple of basic Barbies, and an odd vintage one. That's round 1. We must mark off rounds. I have my pen and paper to one side here. Second round. In fact, I'm going to move my stitch marker up before I do that. There we go. You can see it's starting to curl round. Just push it round that way. But yes, as I say, I'm not really a Barbie collector, but every now and again there's one that catches my eye and I think, oh, she's beautiful. So yeah, I will go for it. But obviously, as you know, my bigger girls are my smart dolls. But I've got quite a few different things. I'm a little bit eclectic. I'm not the sort of person who sticks to one sort of style. It's more a case of if I like the look of it, I'm not going to sort of be strict about things. And obviously I've got my Monster Highs and things like the oh, what are they called? I can't think what they're called now. I'm having a look. I'm looking up as I'm talking. I've got some Disney Descendants. They're really cute. I keep saying I'm going to do a tour of my room if anybody would be interested to have a look. But at the moment my room is half full with my son's Warhammer as well, because we've been sort of redesigning his bedroom, and we've got to find a place for all these things, and unfortunately that place at the moment is my craft room, but it's getting there. So when I've got it all tidied and everything that's not mine out of here, I will do a little tour of my chaos. I did a very quick one once, but it's very much changed since then. We're almost round for our second one. I'm trying not to speed up too much, because I know I can go a little bit fast sometimes. Don't forget, you can slow me down, but just don't listen to me when you slow me down, because it slows the voice down as well. but you can do that. But I think, to be honest, the easiest way is just stopping and starting. The beauty of YouTube is you can just pause it or fast forward and things like that, so it's quite good in that respect. I know if I'm watching something and I want to check it out, I'll pause, rewind, watch it again. So that's round 2. Off we go for our round 3. This yarn earlier when I did the first one was splitting all the time. It was an absolute nightmare. It's not too bad now. It seems to be flowing a little bit. I do sometimes find when you do the increases with certain 4-plies that they catch more. And on average, a lot of 4-plies have a higher wool content. This is an acrylic. As far as I remember, I've had this one ages. I just like the denim colour and I thought it sort of went well with what she'd got there. So I do like denim colours, so this is why I went for this one. But there's quite often a high wool content if you're using a sock yarn or something like that, which means they can catch a little bit. But there are some absolutely stunners out there, particularly in the sock yarns, the variegated, and especially the ones that hand dyed. I know I recently popped a video on from a company that I bought some products, and they're absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to get going with them. I was going to do one of the doll hats here, but I thought perhaps a plain yarn would be easier to see, so that is why I went for this instead of the variegated, because the variegated can be a little distracting when you're trying to see what someone's doing, as much as it's one of my favourites. Almost round, so that will be, just checking where I'm going there, this will be round 3. One more to get to the stitch marker, and that is our round 3, so mark it down. We've only got 2 more rounds before we go back onto our double crochets. You can see the shape of the hat forming. Obviously I'll put it on her head just to show you. It is big, as you can see. That is the whole point of the slouch effect, that at this point it does need to be quite loose rather than a tight beanie. So that is why it is like that at this point. So don't worry if it looks a little bit big on her head, because we're going to do a little bit of decreasing when we get to our double crochets. And that is where, depending on your tension, you can bring it in, or you may only need the amount that I've decreased, but you know, you can make it tighter or looser at this at that point. Right, off we go again. Round number 4. Half trebles. Yeah, it's definitely flowing a lot easier now. It's weird. But as I say, if you need to do your half trebles in 2 stages, you can go 1, 1. As long as it's the same thread coming through all 3 and you're not dividing it up like a treble. Although if you've been doing a lot of trebles, you will find it hard to do a half treble, because you get so, and I've done this myself when I've done granny squares or blankets and things like that. You're doing treble, 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 and you just can't get out of the habit. So when you have to change stitch, you're sort of wrapping and doing trebles all the time. So you've got to remember, we are wrapping the yarn, but it's a half treble. So this is round number 4, almost complete. Tiny pause there. I swear the postman knows that I'm doing a video, so he decides he's going to deliver. But here we go, just at the end of our 4th, weren't we? Last couple of stitches. Right, our final round. Off we go. Ideally, we should have moved this stitch, but we'll move it up now because we have got some double crochet rounds. Keep moving the stitch marker up. After you've done it a while, you get to a point where you don't need to, but if you want to be precise, it is best to keep moving it up as we're working in a spiral system. So we're on our last round. Didn't take long, did it? We've only got, well, 2 more rounds after this. You can make the next bit a little bit deeper if you want, but I've just gone for 2 rounds, which I think is adequate. The other thing with this is a little bit of decor after, which is something I did mean to do, but I thought, well, I wanted to get the video out and it went completely out of my mind. I will show you after the fact though. So this is our last round of just half trebles. I think that was my wrist cracking then. I don't know whether you heard that. Nearly there. Now on the next double crochet round, I will get there first I suppose, in case somebody's fast forwarded me. I don't want to tell you before they catch up. Right, now that is all we've got for half trebles. I have 2 rows of double crochets, but the first one is going to have a decrease in it, and that decrease we're only going to do 4 times. But as I said, this is the point where you need to check if if yours has become a little bit loose, because depending on your tension you may want to decrease an extra 1, and all you could do is just evenly pop it in wherever it feels comfortable. We're going to do it 4 times. We're going to do 2 double crochets together, then we will do 6 double crochets individually times 4. Okay, so my first one is 2 together, so it's a double crochet, remember now, so no wrapping. So pull it through the first stitch into a second stitch, pull it through, 3 on the hook and pull it through, and that is 2 together. Off we go with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need another decrease, so in the first one pull it through, in the second one pull it through, 3 on the hook, through all 3. That's our second decrease. Then 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, nearly missed it, 5 and 6. We need another 2 together. Push it in, pull it through in the first stitch, the second one push it in, pull it through. We have 3 on the hook, pull it through all 3. We've decreased 3 times now, so we need 6 individuals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We need 1 more decrease, so in, pull it through the first stitch, in, pull it through the second stitch, pull it through all 3. And now, well, you can count if you want, but we're just double crocheting to our stitch markers. That's 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now let's just stop a second and see how it fits on her head. Yeah, I think that is okay. I think that will work quite nicely because it does want to be loose. It is supposed to sort of hang at the back of the head as well. So we're now going to do 1 round of just double crochets. Now if you do need to decrease again, this is the point you can do it as well if you want. So you could just do 2 together on that first one, but I'm just going to do 1 double crochet in each because I'm quite happy with that. So it's just 1 double crochet in every double crochet all the way around to our stitch marker again. And that'll be it. So we're almost there. I do love working in a double crochet. I mean, I love this as well, but one of my favourite stitches. I think it's because of all the amigurumi I have done. It's just a very comfortable stitch. Says me as it catches. There we go. few more stitches just round to our stitch marker. And there we go, and my last one is a slip stitch, which I usually end up with just because I think it leaves it a little bit flatter than just leaving it with a double crochet. So let's fasten this off by just pulling this through there and tightening it up. We'll take our little stitch marker out, else we don't need that. You've only got 2 ends to sew in, which is nice for now. I'll be naughty and we'll just push it in there while we try it on her, but obviously I do need to sew my ends in. Another thing with this, I know this sounds a bit weird, but wouldn't it make a cool bag? I had thought about making it into a little bag as well, so it's double purpose. So you can make 2 of them, and she can have a hat and put some little straps on, and she's got a bag as well. So let's position this. And as I say, what I do is I pinch it slightly and pull it over, and that is what gives us this slouchy effect that you need there. So that is it, basically a quick and simple slouch beanie. And so she could have that one as a bag, couldn't she, with a little strap? We might do that. So you could do 2. And then she's got a bag and a hat matching. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it helped out with anybody who's wanting to do any Barbie bits and pieces. I really do need to do more. I've got a list as long as my arm at the moment, so I'm trying to get through what everybody's sort of requesting. But I'm absolutely loving it, and thank you so much for watching. It does mean a lot. So if you do enjoy my videos, please like, subscribe and share. I know they're a little bit varied because you've got from dolls to doll crochet to crochet, so I know I've got different viewers at different points. But hopefully you'll join me in a few future videos. Please like, subscribe and share, and click on that notification bell that's at the bottom there if you want to get notifications of the next video that I do. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all very soon. From me and Barbie, it's bye for now.